Guys, in today's video, I'm going to be recommending you some weapons that you should be obtaining before this season ends. As of recording, we have 57 days roughly remaining of this season, which should be more than enough time for you to obtain any and all of the weapons that I'm recommending for you here today. Obviously, you can go for whatever weapons you wish to, but I'm just going to be recommending you some of the main ones that you should be getting before the season ends. Obviously, you don't have to obtain these before the season ends, as they'll be available throughout the entire year, but if you want to get this season done and dusted with before the next one comes out, it'll be a good thing for you to start doing now. If you go on to enjoy the video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. But let's just get right into it. So today we're just going to be recommending you guys weapons that are easily obtainable. So those being the war table weapons from season 20, along with the raid weapons from Root of Nightmares. We'll also be throwing in some other weapons that you can obtain via some other means in the game. Starting off with the war table weapons. The first one I'm going to be recommending you guys get is the Regnant Heavy Grenade Launcher. This is a must get, as grenade launchers this season did get quite a large buff. So this Regnant here is going to be very strong, and it can roll with perks like auto-loading holster and explosive light. If you're able to craft this weapon, you can get the enhanced versions of those perks, which will be very, very good indeed. Next up, we have Perpetualis. So if you want a strand weapon to work with some of your strand builds, this thing is going to be very, very strong. But if you do a lot of raids, you could also get the raid auto rifle Rufus's Fury. I'd recommend you get Rufus's more, as it does have a lot more interesting of a perk pool. But if you don't raid all that much, then Perpetualis will do you nicely. But if you do raid, Rufus's Fury is the one to go for. Next up here, we have the Prodigal Return Secondary Grenade Launcher. This is a very strong grenade launcher if you like using grenade launchers in PvE, as it can run with Vault Shot. So if you don't like waveframe grenade launchers, this could be a very strong ad clearing grenade launcher for you to obtain. Next, Royal Executioner. If you're a fan of fusion rifles, this is going to be very, very good indeed, as it can get things like Incandescent and Reservoir Burst, two very strong perks for ad clear. And Reservoir Burst hasn't really been on a lot of fusion rifles lately, or hasn't been on a lot of fusion rifles that are as easily obtainable. So if you want this, go and grab it. The bow and the sword, you don't really need them, but if you want them, you can go and get them. Next up, in terms of raid weapons, we are going to be going over Ness's Ablation, which is the brand new slug shotgun. If you don't have a good secondary slug shotgun, highly recommend that you go and get this one, as it does have quite a lot of good perk combinations within it. Obviously made separate videos going over all the perks available to this weapon, but slugs could possibly return in the meta at some point, as they are really good DPS options. If you are a fan of trace rifles, I would highly recommend that you go and obtain Asaya's Dejection. Retrace Path's okay, but this thing has much better perks within it. So if you like trace rifles like I do, you can go and get this from the brand new raid. Now, if you've been playing PvP, you've probably been seeing a lot of this weapon around the Crucible itself. I am, of course, talking about the Immortal SMG, a brand new strand SMG from Trials of Osiris. Sadly, this is on a weekendly time lockout basis because it comes from Trials, so you'll have to wait until next weekend to obtain it. The Adept version isn't going to be available until the last week of the season, if I remember correctly from a Bungie tweet, but you can get the default version from just hitting rank 10 with Saint 14 in the Trials ranked system. So after you reach rank 10, you can just focus all your engrams into getting the Godroll Immortal that you are after. Those are pretty much all the weapons that I'd highly recommend you obtain. If you want any other weapons, you can obviously go and get those if you want. There'll be a link down in the description to light.gg, which will have a list of all the weapons that are obtainable, so that you can see all the perk combinations there for yourself. That's all I have for you guys today. So if you enjoyed, remember, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.